following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
A very good evening and thank you for joining with us on another episode on Business Best, and this is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. Now today on the show we have an individual who's engaged with a lot of voluntary work and also he's owning a business as well. So with that I would like to invite Shanaka Rajapakse, who's the chairman of National ICT Awards in 2019 and 2021 and also the CEO of Apps Technology. Shanaka, thank you very much for taking the time to join me on the show today. Now to discuss about our program, there's a lot of things that we need to touch on, but before that you are the CEO of Apps Technology. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what it's all about?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me first of all. We had a humble beginning in 2015. Before that I was working in the industry for almost about 20 years. So, and large conglomerate like Aiken Spence, Bartlett, Finlays, all those companies, I was actually engaged in IT. So basically my bread and butter was IT. So, but I had a passion and a, vision that I should start something on my own before certain age. So I started in 2015. I was lucky that I found an investor also. So we started it down Baybrook Street, Colombo 2, and of course I didn't have much of issues when it comes to a startup company, because my chairman, he was having a lot of companies and we are part and parcel of those, of course a group. So initially I didn't have issue in finding businesses also because I was serving the group. Mm-hmm. So first 1 year and all, it was very smooth. Like then only I was thinking the business planning, where I should penetrate, where my business plan should go. Then we decided on two sections. That is, one is a bespoke software development. Like if you want a ship made out of software, I can do it. Our company is capable of doing that. And we were trying to. I always wanted to specialize in one niche area. So the company says Apps Technologies. Why not we build apps, mobile apps? Right. So we started a journey on developing mobile apps, and we were lucky that we got a lot of good businesses in Sri Lanka in the first 2-3 years.
Right. So Shanaka, now basically Apps Technology is an IT company, and when I look at the profile there are so many other services that you all are providing as well. So why don't you tell us what exactly the services that you all are providing?
Yeah. So then what happened was, before forming the Apps Technologies, I was basically looking after large companies, the IT infrastructure. So I always believe that you should do what you are capable and what you are best at. So I thought, why not, certain companies having this headache of, I don't like to call it a headache, but the normally a company in the IT department, how you manage it, and nowadays you are talking about the capex and all those, the expenditure and all that. So I thought I should, my company is capable of this outsourcing business. So I managed to get into this outsource business. It's not a very easy job, It's always, it's very unpopular thing, because always you're on the receiving end. Mm-hmm. Like if you do the best, even you say you're having what you call the constraints, and you're having these things down the line. So likewise, I thought I should do what I'm best at. So I managed to get into this outsourcing business, the services, the IT infrastructure, starting from help desk to the normal call center. Then I thought, I always believe that as I started also, I believe in this niche kind of a thing. So I managed to get into the IT security area also, because most of the companies are facing these vulnerabilities and various things. So I took their burden on this thing, and I was providing services to look after their IT security as well. So right now it's a 7-year-old fully fledged IT company. So we managed to secure a lot of good deals. I'm doing a lot of work with the government as well, plus the private sector, like the leading brands in textile. So we managed to secure a lot of good deals, and right now, actually we are trying to penetrate to international markets.
Right. When I look into your company profile as well, there was a sector like in the services that you all are providing. Training programs were included as well. What sort of training programs are you providing? Is it for the staff or is it for your customers, or how does that work?
Yeah, we were doing that for actually, as I told you, my staff is comprises of different levels. If you take the Sri Lankan context, only 10% get the chance to get into the state or private sector universities. So that 90% is just there. I thought I should always concentrate on this 90%. And some joined as raw. I mean, they didn't have any IT qualification when they joined my company initially. But they were very keen. They were checking on the Google and YouTube videos. If I say how to install antivirus, they will do their research. And next day, this particular guy will come and do the installation. I was amazed. So likewise, I managed to train a staff. I always believe train the trainer concept when it comes to outsourced business and all. So I normally put 2-3 interns or 2-3 trainees with the full set of staff, which has actually worked towards better of certain things. Like they go and learn from the senior. So gradually we managed to
do basically on-the-job training.
On-the-job training.
Right. So when you all are finding solutions, the process that you all follow, something that I really noticed was it was unique that you all had governance also. What do you think is the importance of governance when you're finding solutions, specifically in the IT business?
Yeah, governance is a major thing. Like we had to comply with certain standards like ISO and ITI. When it comes to services, there's something called ITIL, because without ITIL certifications and all, you can't win certain deals. So I initially went on those certificates also. But I always believe one thing: the trust you build on the customer. If you build the trust, I mean, first 2-3 months, if you can build the trust with the customer, and you're a compliance-based company, plus you're practicing the best practices. So if that goes to their senior management, it's very easy to work. I mean, you can have long-term relationship. All my customers are now more than 3 years working with me. So basically, I always believe more than the compliance, it's the trust you build with the customer, and you have to be very honest with them. If you escalate with a problem, and if you try to hide certain things, like your computer one of the PCs got infected, and you had to pay ransom or something like that. If you sort of hide it and delete and do various things, you long-term relationship you won't be able to maintain. So
was it difficult for you to maintain that trust, like when you started in the first place?
Yeah, of course. I was in the industry, so I was lucky actually. I knew most of the head of IT, CIOs, and through this other thing you are talking about the volunteer thing, through the BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT Sri Lanka section, where I was involved in over the last 10 years. So I managed to create a good relationship most of the IT industry decision makers. So that really helped me to penetrate to the business. That was actually one of my key success areas because of my relationship. They know who is myself and what we do and various things, which has really helped me to basically secure a lot of good deals.
I think our viewers are also a little bit confused now. They must be wondering what this BCSA is, NBQSA is, but we'll be touching on that later. So when you started Apps Technology, what were some of the main challenges that you faced? The difficulties that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Actually, in 2015, the situation was very difficult, very different from nowadays. 2015 to 2020, everything was conducive. Like the environment, the economics, everything was good, and the business was moving. Only thing now only we are facing, even the COVID was a blessing under the disguise, because COVID time we managed to do a lot of innovations. We start working from home, and that has reduced the cost. IT is one of the businesses in Sri Lanka where I don't think you can't complain of.
Exactly. Yes.
Because the costs have gone down significantly, because if you run an office in Colombo, your overheads are there. Now basically everybody is working from home. My engineers, supporting staff, some of the supporting staff physically has to come to offices. That is a difficult part nowadays finding, but now the roster is working. Now things are being sort of streamlined. People are trying to accepting this working remote access and doing error rectifications, and various things have been accepted. So so a lot of things have happened during the past 6-7 years, but now we are facing a huge challenge of how to match the salaries, remuneration with the dollar. Say if one of the engineers paid 100,000 salary last month, and with this dollar crisis and various things, he won't be able to survive with that 100,000. So that is the most challenging thing right now we are facing, which is still which actually it's a very huge risk at the moment.
Okay, to catch up on that, before we continue with our discussion, we'll have to go into a short commercial break, and we'll be coming back into the economic crisis as well. But before that, let's go into a short commercial break. You're watching Business Best. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to Business Best, and we are in discussion with Shanaka Rajapakse, who is the chairman of the National ICT Awards 2019 and 2021, and also the CEO of Apps Technology. Now, Shanaka, I think in the first segment we spoke about what app technology is all about and the challenges that you've been facing. I think we took off when you spoke about the dollar crisis we are facing here in Sri Lanka. Now, everybody is under this economic crisis and everybody is feeling the brunt of it. But now something very essential is that Sri Lanka is in need of dollars right now. What do you think the IT industry can do in order to support this and bring in more dollars into the nation?
You have asked a very timely and a precise question, because right now I think the best way to get out of this crisis is IT. Because if you can empower the rural youth, and I was talking about 90% who can't afford to go to the universities. So this 90%, if we can train them and get them to work on international platforms, there are a lot of online platforms where they can generate money, not rupees, you can generate dollars, which I've been telling over the years, and we were trying to make it happen, but certain things are not, the government also has to come in some way to get these things, connected, get the dotted lines connected. So we had to have better internet, then at least a smartphone, or a laptop, or this thing, tab or something like that. I think that's where people need support and training. Of course, we have been telling there are a lot of professionals who are willing to give volunteer and FOC support if these things come to place. I've been telling this to some authorities, but due to certain things, I think this is the ideal time, without complaining or without talking negative about these things. This is the right time if we can get together and come with a plan and empower this youth, and we are sending all these ladies to overseas, on what I don't know what you call it, labor or whatever. I think that should stop. If we can train them in IT and empower them to work from home with a little bit, this won't cost much, because our IT infrastructure, the internet is very good. So if these companies also can get together, the service providers, and with the government initiative, we can really do wonders.
So how long have you been working on this, Shanaka?
Yeah, we actually, I was telling about BCS, the Chartered Institute of IT Sri Lanka section. We are doing a program called NBQSA, National Best ICT Products. We have been doing it for the last 24 or 25 years, and it contains of the school children, then the what you call the tertiary and university students, and the private sector, private and public. We evaluate, it's like the Oscars in the IT industry in Sri Lanka, where we showcase all the IT professionals and evaluate and it's open sort of a competition. So we are not stopping locally also, we are taking the winners to the next level, the Asia Pacific ICT Alliance, which comprises of 21 countries. So I have been talking about this in TV, I mean last 4-5 years, and we are trying to educate everybody, give the awareness to everyone to join this competition, because there are a lot of benefits. We came second or third last year in Bangladesh, and before the last year actually they couldn't have it because of COVID, they had an online thing. But we have been coming second, third, in this among these 21 countries, which is great. And we managed to basically create a lot of entrepreneurs, which is the best. I mean, any country to develop, we have to have entrepreneurs and startups. So with that startup and entrepreneur concept, plus this empowering the rural youth, and with little bit of English is required, if we can get these things sorted, I think that's the best way to get out of this crisis.
I think this platform is really amazing, where you all recognize these young talents and the young mindsets, and promoting entrepreneurship as well. But when it comes to mindset, now you were talking about women also. What do you think about the women engagement in the IT industry? Because as far as I know, the majority are men, and women usually don't study IT. I think it's because of the norms and the things what people say. But what is your intake on that?
I think the more and more ladies, I mean the women are getting involved in IT, and they're holding big positions also. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs also. They're coming up with wonderful solutions, and not only local, they manage to get into the next level, international level. So I think there's a good trend now. I mean, there's no kind of a discrimination or whatever in Sri Lanka. I mean, ladies are always they are getting into the places right now. I mean, and we are having a fairly large amount of percentage when you compare the male and the female. The female is more than the male right now. So likewise, I think there's a lot of potential for the ladies. The female they can come and get part in IT. Of course, now these societies and associations and all, where we see less ladies getting involved, but now that is also getting changed now.
So Shanaka, tell me a little bit more about NBQSA. How can people be engaged with you all, and what's the platform available for them to join this competition?
Yeah, there's a website called www.nbqsa.org, and .com is also available now. So all this, all the information is on that website. So you can go and check on those things. That's called in Sinhala the Jatika Torutura Takshana Sammanulal. So if you go and search in Google and all, you can get all the information. And it's been there for the last year. In the IT industry, everybody is aware of it, because all the IT professionals come. It's in October normally in the calendar. All the professionals, sort of like the Slim Awards, we have this NBQSA.
Right. Shanaka, you also mentioned that you're providing advice and teachings online via radio channels and so on, free of charge. What is your intention behind this?
Yeah, if you go back about 3-4 years ago, National Radio, City FM, they wanted me to conduct 5 minutes, 10 minutes chats on radio, on IT. They call it Mr. IT. So I was talking on a daily basis on weekdays. So we have been, talking about all the new trends in IT, and when it's not easy to, explain in single certain IT technical words, like software is mrudukang and hardware is dudukang, and we invented certain new words like cryptocurrency. We used the word called mudal novana mudal. So likewise, it was very interesting, and my Sinhala also really got going, because I was also had to do my studies in studying converting certain English word to Sinhala, and which was very interesting, and I managed to create a good audience among, especially radio. Of course, it's not Colombo crowd, it's all rural crowd, and they have been, and we created WhatsApp groups, and they are asking for jobs also. We managed to create a kind of audience where they interact. Now we have a WhatsApp group where they are always asking for certain IT, now the cryptocurrency and all these things. They are asking what are the new trends, plus they are asking for job opportunities, which is great. So actually, if you can take to the next level, where the government institutes, also the technical colleges, and where we can have a collaboration, then we can take to the next level. So I'm planning certain things. Hopefully, we can take those things also to the next level.
So according to your view, there are talents, there are young mindsets who wants to work in the IT industry, but they just need a little bit of a push. Is
Definitely. Actually, our talents, I mean, there's, you can, if you go to NASA, I will be telling this, if you go to any sort of a technical institute in the world, I'm sure there's a Sri Lankan who is working there. So we have, talent-wise, I think we are far superior to any nation.
Coming back to apps technology, Shanaka, I noticed that you have been working with a lot of technologies at once. But as far as I know, I've been talking to firms as well. They try to stick to one technology or one system because it's convenient, it's easy for them. But when you take apps technology, you're working with a lot of things at the same time. Is there a reason for you to do this?
As I told you, when it comes to software development, bespoke, if customer says, I want this particular technology used, so we use that technology because we want to give the 100% basically satisfaction to the customer. So that's why we have to work with different technologies. For those projects, we have different teams also. Say like PHP, if somebody wants a web development done on PHP, we have a team which we are specialized in PHP. So likewise, when it comes to mobile application, React and all those things, we have a different team. So normal, orthodox web development, website developments, various things, we have different teams. So likewise, we manage to segregate and specialize certain individuals to, when they are specialized in those areas. So that's why we have multiple, combination of technologies used to, sustain.
Right, Shanaka, we've come to our end of our program as well. But before we end, my final question to you, how do you plan on expanding your business and how do you plan on surviving in this industry and also serving our nation also at the same time?
Very good question. Actually, this is what we are right now working with. Actually, we managed to penetrate to a few countries, Australia, New Zealand, and some Nordic countries, also like Finland, and we have a presence there now. So we are trying to make it global now, because we know that the only way of surviving is to bring dollars to the country. So we are working on that concept, and hopefully we are working with few government institutes like EDB and various ICTA, where we can work together and we can showcase our talent. You have been to few like Gartner Symposium as a Sri Lankan delegation, Likewise, we should go as a team, all the IT. I mean, synergy is the best, I always believe if we can synergize all these IT experts and the best products, then we can go as a nation and showcase in the world, and we all can be benefited.
All right. Thank you, Shanaka. And this is the end of our program as well. And I wish you all the very best as well.
Thank you so much, Shanal. You have been very helpful there. Thank you.
And that was our episode on Business Best this week. We will be back again next week with a service or product that will be interested in you. And also, just in case you couldn't watch us online, you can always rewatch by catching us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Derana English. Stay safe and have a good night. I'm Suzanne Shanaka.